takes a little bit of initial staff to help you find places to brainstorm with you and then help you really make these sorts of things. Really higher education is changing. It is changing at an incredibly rapid pace. It has become something of a football in the current political campaign, and I suspect that it will. The problem with that is that it's a very thin and unthoughtful view of what college education is, and it's largely related to issues of debt and job training. And higher education, we call it higher education for a reason, right? We don't call it tertiary education. When I was in Australia back in 2010, I was struck by how people called higher education tertiary education there. Then I was struck even more as I got to know the campuses and the faculty at how much it felt like people were slogging through it. Higher education, it's always been different than that. It's always been about training people to be educated citizen leaders in all fields, and even in professions, to be thoughtful leaders of a profession into the future. So even if you're in a school of business or in a school of education, you're going to be someone who works in business as a professional, someone who's going to be an educator. You're not just being trained for the businesses and schools we have now, you're being trained for the businesses and schools that we're going to have over the next 40, 50 years of your career, and you need to think broadly about those institutions and organizations. That this book has is here are some practical, concrete, tangible things that campuses actually did that don't have to cost that much money, that get back to core questions of mission of campuses, of producing these sort of citizen leaders, engaged community participants who think globally and locally, that work. So it actually is possible, and it's not asking campuses to do something different. It's actually asking them to take a look at that core mission statements they have and then say, how do we intentionally accomplish this and how do we achieve this? So I would say the answer to that is, if there is a will, among faculty that want to do this, they can do it at individual level. If there's a will on campuses of faculty and staff that want to take this on, and students that want to demand it and see it happen, that can begin the seeds of what and the design of what becomes it. That students get so much more out of a service learning that is tied to their major and connected to upper level courses. And they can use the skills that they are working so hard to gain and use them usefully and helpfully to an organization, to a group of people, and help them. They find that deeply meaningful, and the faculty find that deeply meaningful, and there's lots of places where you can do that.
Looking great.
All right.
Yep.
Here we are.
Yep.
Okay, great. All right.
Congratulations, Tim.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Bravo.
There we are. All right.